morning.
Hi. So welcome to our Patient Insights video series. Thank you very much for joining me today. We're here to talk about your experiences as a person living with HPP during the coronavirus pandemic. So for those who don't know about HPP, can you tell us a little bit about it and how it affects you?
Yeah, HPP, or hyperphosphatasia, is an inborn error of metabolism, which sounds all very confusing. But basically, it's a genetic disorder, and I can't produce an alkaline phosphatase enzyme, which breaks down calcium. So what my body does, I have calcium floating around in the wrong places. So in me, it builds up for example, in my shoulders, it's built up like bony spurs. But apart from that, it's gone down my tendons, and it's sort of like a toothpaste down my tendons. And so when I move, it causes a lot of pain, and it also causes muscle weakness and that sort of stuff, and bone pain and this sort of thing.
Right. So a therapy out, an enzyme replacement therapy called Strensiq, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is currently certain to eligible patients with HPP. And it's basically in place when a potential new therapy goes through the NICE appraisal process. They can either make one of three decisions, and that's either to say, yes, we'll make it available on the NHS. They can say, no, we don't think it's value for money, or we don't think that it's a good treatment, or good enough treatment for the NHS. Or they can say, we haven't got enough data on it, and therefore we're going to make it available through what is called a managed access agreement program. Now, you're on this Strensiq enzyme replacement therapy through this managed access agreement. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And can you tell me a little bit about your experience of the management of HPP using Strensiq?
Initially, I was 60 and one day when I received my first vial of Strensiq, and I was a bit overwhelmed, really, because to hit that sort of age and having lived all that time with pain and shoulder replacements and all sorts of awful things that have happened, it was exciting, daunting as well, because there were lots of questions going around in my head. Is it going to work? Is it going to hurt? Because you have to inject this six days a week.
Yeah.
Am I going to cope with that for the next 5 years? What happens after the end of the 5-year agreement? Does it come to an end, and do I go back to the pain? It was very, very daunting.
It's quite a lot to take in, isn't it? Especially because you have only got it for that certain length of time, and in this case it is 5 years. What appointments do you regularly have to attend?
So what we did initially, we had an interview over the phone, quite a long interview, and then the agreement states that you had to go every 3 months. Now then, let me get this right. Every 3 months initially, and then it's every 6 months throughout the 5 years. I can't remember the exact details here now, but something like that. And the trouble is, I've only done the first 3 month one, because I'm on day 185 of injecting today, so it's still early days for me. So we had the one interview back in hospital appointment back in December, and then the next one has been cancelled because of the coronavirus. So I don't know what they're going to do about that, and I haven't been informed as whether they're going to contact me directly or whatever. But as far as the medication is concerned, it's spot on. Right from the beginning, the phone call organising the delivery of the medication was brilliant. Then the nurse came out to train me up. I live in Wales, so she came across from Manchester, because she was the only one in our area, every day for 5 days to make sure I knew how to inject myself properly. They were a bit worried about anaphylactic shock initially, but it happens very rapidly if it's going to happen. So I was fine. And so she did the training. It was great, really good. And then she followed up by ringing me once a week for the next few weeks.
How are you finding that the managed access agreement and your appointments and things like that? How has that changed in the wake of coronavirus?
The only thing that's changed is the fact that my specialist is in Sheffield, because there's only a few centres for HPP across the UK. And although I'm in Wales, that's the one that I go to.
There's quite some distance.
It is quite a distance, but we always turn it into a bit of a jolly, you know, normally. Because it's a long drive. So my husband drives me there and we usually stop over, but obviously that's not happening now. So that's changed. Jenny Walsh, my specialist, says I can ring her if I need to. So basically in lockdown, the medication's coming through just the same. Perfect, really excellent.
That's fantastic. And I know you've mentioned that you're not getting the phone calls to monitor yourself through the quality of life questionnaires that you usually have. Is that right?
Yeah, well, I was under the impression that they would be phoning me more regularly than they have been. So whether that's because of I've got it round my neck, or whether it's a staffing difficulty at the moment. But the good news is that I'm still on the medicine.
Mel, thank you so much for today. You've been absolutely fantastic.
You're very welcome. And can I just say one more thing? Metabolic support is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, because you've supported me throughout the whole of this adventure. But recently you've been doing the COVID coffee mornings. And a few weeks ago, I was feeling really guilty about going out on my electric trike. You know, stupid, but I just felt bad about it. And then through the coffee morning, some of the girls said, "Oh, don't be daft, get out there. Go on, go this afternoon. You must go this afternoon. I'm going to ask you next week." Anyway, I did. So thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.